Hey guys, how are we doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. So yeah, something a little bit different. We're just gonna have to have a look at this, what happened on Twitter, because obviously it does relate to cryptocurrency, but yeah, I think it's got some wider implications here, and I'm not quite sure it's been taken as seriously as it should be. So basically, we're going to go over to this Vice article. So hackers convinced Twitter employee to help them hijack accounts. That's kind of the story that they're going with. So after a wave of account takeovers, screenshots of an internal Twitter user administration tool are being shared in the hacking underground. So yeah, I mean, this guy was involved, but it's not necessarily certain whether the guy kind of let them basically did the hack for them, or whether they sort of used his help to actually for them to actually do it themselves. So a Twitter insider was responsible for a wave of high-profile account takeovers on Wednesday, according to a leaked screenshot obtained by Motherboard and two sources who took over the accounts. On Wednesday, a spike of high-profile accounts, including those of Joe Biden, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, Uber, and Apple, tweeted cryptocurrency scams in an apparent hack. You see, this is where it doesn't add up for me, because you could make a lot more money than these guys made, and you're not going to have the intelligence and the know-how and even the social engineering skills, that everything you would need to do this hack, to basically get control of all these people's Twitter accounts. I mean, you got access to their DMs, access to basically everything, and just scam the most stupid, ridiculous, basic cryptocurrency. You send me 1 Bitcoin and I'll send you 2 Bitcoin back scams. It's just it doesn't add up. Those two skill sets, one to basically achieve this, and then to only do with that a cryptocurrency basic scam, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It does not add up, guys. It can't. There's got to be more to it. We'll go into that in a little bit. We're just going to read over some of the rest of it. So we used a rep that literally done all the work for us. Okay, so that's their line. We used a rep that literally done all the work for us, one of the sources told Motherboard. A second source added they paid the Twitter insider, and yes, another one said they paid the Twitter insider. Motherboard granted the source's anonymity to speak candidly about the security incident. The Twitter spokesperson told Motherboard that the company is still investigating whether the employee hijacked the accounts themselves or gave hackers access to the tools. So yeah, that's what I was kind of saying before. But yeah, yeah, it just seemed like they're trying to like pass this onto the person at Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as simple as that, and obviously I think there's more to this than this, guys. And we'll go into it. We're just going to read through the article, and we'll go into basically the implications of this. Right, the accounts were taken over using an internal tool at Twitter, according to the sources, as well as screenshots of the tool obtained by Motherboard. One of the screenshots shows the panel and the account of Binance. Binance is one of the accounts the hackers took over today, according to the screenshots seen by Motherboard. At least some of the accounts appear to have been compromised by changing the email address associated with them using the tool. In all, four sources close to or inside the underground hacking community provided Motherboard with screenshots of the user tool. Two sources said the Twitter panel was also used to changing ownership of some of so-called OG accounts that have a handle consisted of only 1 or 2 characters, as well as facilitating the tweeting of cryptocurrency scams from high-profile accounts. Twitter has deleted some screenshots of the panels and suspended users who tweeted them, claiming that the tweets violate its rules. They've got a picture of it here. So yeah, so we can actually see here. This is like a Twitter back-end screenshot, and it has things like compromised, trends blacklist, search blacklist, read only. So Twitter has claimed that it doesn't shadow ban, but I mean, clearly their backend shows that they do shadow ban. I mean, it's right there, trends blacklist, search blacklist. So they are getting shadow banned. They are shadow banning people, even though they claim that they don't. But that's another story anyway. So Twitter, right? So The panel is a stark example of the issue of insider data access at tech companies, where in other cases hackers have bribed workers to leverage tools over to individual users. In this case, the access has led to takeovers of some of the biggest accounts on the social media platform and tweeted Bitcoin related scams in an effort to generate income. The screenshot shows details about the target user's account, and such as whether it has been suspended, is permanently suspended, or has protected status. One of the screenshots, a Twitter user posted images of the panel themselves at the time of writing the account has been suspended. Data breach monitoring and prevention service under the breach obtained a similar screenshot and tweeted it as the worker hijacked several accounts. The person in control of the under the breach management account told Motherboard Twitter, then removed the tweet with the screenshot and suspended them for 12 hours. A message replacing the tweet now says it violated Twitter's rule. A Twitter spokesperson told Motherboard in an email that as per our rules, we're taking action on any private personal information shared in tweets. Basically, Twitter's private information, where they show that they shadow ban people, and they show that they've obviously one of their people is just gone off the reservation. After the publication of this piece, Twitter said in a tweet that we have detected what we believe to be a coordinated social engineering attack by people who successfully targeted one of our employees with an access to internal systems and tools. So obviously Twitter are trying to say that they weren't actually hacked. They were social engineer attacks. So this is, I'll just clarify this for you guys. A lot of when people say they're hacked or they get hacked, it's not actual hacking, it's social engineering, where you basically get tricked somehow into handing over your password or something, for example. So let's say someone phones you from Twitter saying that we think someone's hacked your account, so we're gonna basically send you a code, and can you just tell me what that code is? And then they basically try to access your account. Twitter wants to send them a code, you a code. You are on the phone to Twitter, and you think it's Twitter, and you tell them the code, and they have your code, they get into your account. That's social engineering. Obviously that's not so bad for Twitter, but if they actually got hacked, and if someone's actually on the inside is helping, giving people an insight into their obviously their platform, then obviously that's clearly not good. Other hijacked accounts include Mike Bloomberg and cryptocurrency platforms Coinbase and Gemini. The accounts falsely announced they had partnered up with an organization called Crypto for Health, which claims it was going to provide people with Bitcoin as long as they sent some to an address first. Shortly after the spike of takeovers, Twitter itself tweeted that many users may be unable to reset their passwords or tweets while the company addresses the issue. Within an hour of the breach, Republican Senator Josh Hawley wrote a letter to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey asking for more information about the hack, including how the hack occurred, how many users were compromised, and whether the hack affected President Trump's account. Hawley said, please reach out immediately to the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to take necessary measures to secure the site before this breach expands. In 2017, a Twitter worker briefly deleted President Donald Trump's account before it was quickly reinstated. Obviously, a disgruntled employee just thought, right, I'm going to hit the delete button. 2 former Twitter employees previously abused access to spy on users for the Saudi regime. Also, according to the Justice Department, all tech companies face the issue of malicious insiders. Motherboard has previously revealed how Facebook employees use their privileged access to user data to stalk women, how Snapchat users workers had a tool called SnapLion that provides information on users, and how MySpace employees abused a platform called Overlord to spy on users during the site's heyday. So here's the problem. Here's the problem, guys. Twitter isn't going to want to tell anybody that if they've been hacked, properly hacked, not some social engineering hack. They're not going to want to tell you if someone hasn't basically got something on this person's USB drive into obviously their system that's given them some sort of a backdoor. They're not going to want to tell you. What we do know is that it was a very sophisticated it was not necessarily very sophisticated. If it was purely just social engineering, it was a big achievement is what it was. be it very sophisticated or not. And these people that managed to do this, they could have, I mean, they had Elon Musk Twitter, Joe Biden's Twitter, Obama Twitter. They could literally have collapsed the stock markets. They could have said they could have said all sorts of things. Obama could have tweeted out saying Trump is basically cancelling elections, closing down the government, and then Elon Musk could be like, I can't believe it's true what I've heard. And then obviously that these are just the blue tick accounts they've got on Twitter. They could be accessing obviously normal people's accounts and be like saying, oh my god, this is true, there's people storm the White House, and they could really start like a proper like a civil war, just like that, just from Twitter with these blue check accounts. Twitter wasn't able to do anything about it for a good few hours either, and that's just that angle. They could have done all sorts of caused all sorts of international events. They could have tweeted from Trump's Twitter. I don't know why they didn't. I think that's a bit suspicious also. It kind of shows, I think there's more into it. If you can get into Twitter, I don't think Trump has any sort of special treatment at Twitter to keep his Twitter secure, and Obama doesn't, and Elon Musk doesn't. I think they could have got his, so I think they're trying to put that question into people's minds. Well, did Trump have something to do with this? Bloody blur. Also, the elites don't necessarily like Bitcoin, so just to smear Bitcoin with that brush again, not very good either. I mean, lots of people are shorting Tesla. You could have just taken out a massive short on Tesla, bought a load of puts, and then just said, Elon could have said something like, we've fallen out with China because of trade deals or whatever, and we're shutting down the factory, and basically we can't do this and whatever, and the stock price is too high, and just all the stuff that would be believable coming from Elon, that would basically tank the price of Tesla, and then they could then buy it back up again. So they only got apparently about 10 Bitcoin, like around $100,000, right? And if I got control, if I was a black hat hacker or whatever, or a social engineer, and managed to get access to these accounts, I mean, you could definitely make a lot more money than that. I could sit here and make a lot more money than that if I could send any tweet I wanted from Elon's Twitter, or Obama's Twitter, or Biden's Twitter. Biden, I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy, guys. So what this tells me is that possibly some sort of state actor, which country I don't want to necessarily guess, but some country has done this, and they thought, well, okay, we're gonna show you that we can do this, and we're just gonna do a Bitcoin thing, because that looks like that we can hide behind that Bitcoin scam, because people are doing it, and it will just look like people will believe it. Oh, it's just a Bitcoin scam that they keep doing on YouTube anyway, and yeah. So is that really what's happened, or did someone really get access to these and literally only manage to make themselves $100,000? And in Bitcoin anyway, it's all trackable on the blockchain anyway. We'll know what wallet it is in, and yeah, and whatnot. There are basically cryptographic services that basically track things on the blockchain for Bitcoin. So it just, yeah, these things don't stack up. These things definitely don't stack up. And like I said, it is a very serious, a serious threat to anybody in any country. If you can get control of these blue tick major players, major Twitter people's handles, and just post whatever you want. I mean, you can have a combined group of them say various things together, or shortly after each other, basically painting a picture of events that is going to be believed and going to be believed by the markets. I mean, algorithms literally follow Twitter. Like there's algorithms, black boxes, hedge funds plugged into basically Trump's tweets. Whenever he says something, he mentions something, they react off that Twitter. I mean, that's how these markets work. These people that did this, everybody's aware of this. They did not just do oh, send me 1 Bitcoin and I'll send you back 2 Bitcoin scam with this level of sophistication and this opportunity. Someone, I believe, got control of this, and they wanted to show, yeah, look, be careful, we've got control of this, we can do what we want. Twitter won't want to admit that's the case, because they don't want to basically obviously be scrutinized over this. But yeah, it basically is a security issue. Twitter needs to I mean, it is a public forum. It's a place of public discourse. I mean, the president, the most powerful, the leader of the free world, he communicates to the world on there via Twitter. And if that is not secure, then the world is not secure, basically, because armed with that tool, if you can access it, there's not really a limit to the sort of stuff you can do, guys. And on the basis there's no real limit, that's why I don't believe that they just basically they just looked at whatever scam was going out at the moment that they could pretend, oh yeah, we're just doing the same sort of scam, and then yeah, and then do you know what I mean? And then sort of hide behind the pretense of like, oh yeah, we just do it, it's just people doing that scam, when in reality they're saying, look guys, look what we can do. We did this silly little game thing with cryptocurrency scam this time, but next time you're going down in flames. And that's what it seems like to me. This is a lot more serious than Twitter's going to want to admit, than anybody's going to want to admit. Then yeah, so that's my piece. That's what I needed to say on this, guys. So thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin price action video coming soon, and I'll speak to you guys on the next one.